Love it. All right. Good morning, everybody. All right. I will right into I am on the road. I'm off to speak in an office for Century 21 Lotus in Downey. So if you guys are in the LA area, I'm going to be there speaking today from 10:30 until 11 o'clock. I am going to have some internet connection issues, so just bear with it. We're just going to move through and just continue to move forward. So welcome everybody as usual. I do want to welcome those of you that are joining us over on YouTube. Those of you that are over on Instagram, Facebook, as always, I'm going to encourage you to come join us over here on Zoom as it gives us the opportunity to a little bit better interact. But if not, either way, don't worry about it. We're going to go ahead and take all of your questions. We're going to go ahead and get those addressed. Andrew, if you can do me a favor, if you could just make sure that you do post them here so that we can go ahead and get those addressed. All right, so let's go to get started. If anybody has any questions here on Zoom, feel free, ask away, jump right in, and we'll get those things, we'll get all of those questions addressed. All right. So we were talking last week about creating value when we're calling our database. Again, these are the people that like us, love us, want to help support our business. And what do? Well, unfortunately, majority of you ignore them. Okay, so we don't want to take that approach. We're talking about taking a completely different approach. For those of you that are calling your database actively, kudos to you, congratulations. For those of you that are not, let's take a little bit of a different approach. Now, when we're calling them, as we've mentioned before, we want to call them 4 times a year. Okay, we're also going to email them. We're also going to mail them. We're going to call them for their birthday. We're going to call them for their holidays. We talked about separating them from different lists, so on and so forth. However, I did leave you guys with some homework. And what was the homework? The homework was for you to create different topics of value. One of the things that I equip all of my coaching clients with is with what I call as the menu of topics. That menu of topics actually has, I think it's about 15 different topics, and a good percentage of those you can use those over and over again, such as interest rates, loan programs, quarterly update, yearly update, things of that nature. And the benefit and the purpose of that, of course, gives us the opportunity when we reach out to our friends or family, our dentist, our barber, all of those people, we can create that value. That is what is going to separate you from your competition. That is what is going to separate you from the, I don't want to bug my friends. I don't want to bother them. It feels like all I'm doing is begging for business. So we have to create that value. And the way we create that value is we identify something that is going to be of benefit for when we're calling them. Okay, so again, we're calling our friends, we're calling our family, we're calling our past clients, and we're going through, Joe, hey, this is Robert, your realtor. Just want to give you a quick little update what's going on with the real estate market. Can I borrow you for those 5 minutes? Sure, awesome, great. Well, hey, just want to let you know that the interest rates are definitely on the downward trend. And I want to make sure that I do get this information out to everybody. My question to you, Joe, is who do you know that is wanting to take advantage of the interest rates changing, that is looking to buy, looking to sell, looking to invest? Who do you know of, Joe, that I should be reaching out to? You don't know of anybody? Okay, well, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to think about it. Tell me, how about yourself? When are you thinking about making that move? Okay. The point is to get the value out to them. So I'm going to continue to pick from my menu of topics. I'm going to pick one topic, and I'm going to call 100% of my entire database. So maybe this quarter I might talk about interest rates. My personal favorite at the beginning of the year is to talk to my database specifically about a yearly update. You're going to want to know your statistics. What would be an example? Well, from January 1st all the way through December 31st, the market declined by 8%. What that basically means, the average home in the area going for about 500,000, unfortunately lost about $40,000 in value just in this last year, or whatever that number ends up being. And in that, how do we spin it in a positive direction? Well, the good news, Joe, is that there is an uptick in the market. We are expecting the market to rebound this year, starting in the spring. So I want to get this information out to every single one of my past clients, family, and friends. to see who they know of that is wanting to take advantage of the recovery of the market. Who do you know looking to buy, looking to sell, looking to invest? Do you see with what we're doing here? Okay. Any questions? Anything that I can address? There's going to be some more points that I want to, of course, be able to add. But is there any questions that I can address here on Zoom, or for that matter, if you guys are joining us from any of the other platforms? Anybody have any questions? No, we're good. All right, let's keep moving along. All right. So another thing that I talk to everybody about, I go through as I go through my speaking engagements, I out there working with my coaching clients, I go through this cute little exercise, and I'm going to encourage you to do this as we are speaking. And what's the exercise? Is you're going to grab your phone, and in grabbing your phone, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your contacts. And in your contacts, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And at the very bottom, there's going to be a number that it's going to give you. And that number, regardless of whether it's 200, 400, 532, 673, it doesn't matter. It gives us a little bit of an identification as to more or less how many people you have, what should be in your database. Now, it's not even remotely close to being accurate. And because of that, I just simplify and I say, well, cut that number in half. So if it's 673, cut it in half. That ends up being 330 some. Now, why do we do that? As a coach, it gives me the opportunity to identify a target. So that person that has 672 people in the contacts, I ask of them to cut it in half. That's 330 some. We now multiply it by 10%. Remember the 10% rule? And in that 10%, what we do is we identify that there is potentially 30, 35 deals. Again, it's probably about 70% accurate, not 100%. Because in that exercise, I'm now going to ask of my coaching client, that's a 2-minute exercise. I'm going to now ask of them, put all of those people in an Excel spreadsheet. And let's identify truly how many people are on there. And it's almost always 98% of the time, it's always going to be more than even the number that I just gave. Okay. Why? Because there's not the people that we have friends on social media. We don't have their phone numbers. We go through and, oh my gosh, I just realized I don't have this person's phone number. I don't have this person in my phone, all of these things. And then the other thing is, of course, the separating the husband and the wives as two completely different entries. Okay. I'm going to go through that here very quick. Why do we do that? The reason we do that is because, again, you have Joe, who is in construction. You have his wife, Mary, who is a nurse, as an example. And Joe, of course, has his construction buddies. Mary has her nurse friends, so on and so forth. Now they have this big, very common circle between the two of them, that where Joe and Mary, they know each other's cousins and friends and family, but that's probably about 80, 90%. Now, why is this important? The reason why this is important is because in most cases, what do people do? What do most agents do? They go through, they call Joe. Joe, hey, this is Robert, your realtor, blah, 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 blah. Who do you know of? And Joe says, I don't know of anybody. And I go through everything I possibly can. I cross off the Sanchez's, and the Sanchez's are done called with. But what I did not realize, and because I didn't do a good job, is I didn't call Mary because I wrote off the Sanchez's. Now, why is that important? Because if I would have called Mary, I would have found out that Mary was having a conversation with one of her coworkers last week about going through a potential divorce. And that person had absolutely no clue what direction, they didn't know what to do, where to get started, how to even identify a realtor, anything from that direction. But what did Mary do? She did her job. Mary said, I have a great friend. His name is Robert. He's a realtor. Let me know if you need a realtor. And she did her job. At least she thinks she did. And that's a very common thing that unfortunately takes place with a lot of people in our database. And that person never came together. And I share that story with you because a large percentage of even the people that are calling their database, yes, good job on calling Joe, but you never called Mary. And Mary thinks that she did her job because simply she said, I have a friend that's a realtor. Okay. So any questions, anything that I can address, by the way?
Hey, Robert.
All right,
This is Beatrice.
go for it.
So I had a past client that I called to touch base, And she said, "Hey, remember
Mhm.
that guy that I had referred to you prior at the beginning of the year and he wasn't ready to do anything?" And I said, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I do. This last week, he mentioned to me at work that he's thinking of selling." And I said, "Oh, okay. Should I reach out?" She goes, "No, no, no. He should be reaching out to you, but he hasn't. And so I'm wondering if I should."
Yeah. So remember what we're going to want to do, Beatrice, is we're always going to want to make sure that, and this is part of what, first off, kudos to you. Good job in regards to reaching out. What we need to do is we need to get them to put us in a group text. We want to get our people
Well, I have his
familiar. We want
number
them to get,
in this
but
case.
hold on, let's get on the same page. Yes. I want you to still, even if you have his number, I want you to have the person put you in a group text. Do you know the person that was referred to you?
Yes.
So you know them personally.
Oh, not personally, no, only
Okay.
professionally.
Okay. So, well, I guess with what I'm saying at is okay. So person A referred you to person B, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And person B, they know you by name. There's a casualness in this, or you don't know them from a casual standpoint. You just simply know them by name.
Well, I mean, I had a whole meeting with them in person. They just weren't
Okay.
ready to do anything at the time.
Okay, got it. All right. So in that, let me back up just for a smidge, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, and then I'm also going to address with what you just mentioned. So the reason I want to put them in a group text is because if there is a ghosting, there is an avoidance. What I want to be able to do is person A that referred us, I want to be able to show them and showcase to them that there is no connection. So when I pick up the phone and call person A and say, "Hey, person B, um, isn't coming through, how can I move where do they stand? Are they still moving? Are they gonna are do they still need a realtor? What is the plan here?" Now with person B, if you know them, going back to what you just in a sense mentioned, it's there's no rhyme or rhythm. All you can simply do, let me ask you though, did you make an initial connection with person B, the person that was referred to you?
When I first met with them, yes. Since then, I haven't
Okay,
spoken
got it.
to them.
Okay, so you have spoken to them in person, you've made that connection. People are just going to simply ghost. One of the things that I do is I will always say, Beatrice, I completely understand where you're coming from. You're going to need some time. When should I follow up with you? Okay, so I will always put a time frame with that versus I'll follow up with you, let me know when you're ready. I always tie a loose to that loose end. And in that, if they say, well, give me a call at the beginning of the year, I'm going to go through and I'm going to give them a call at the beginning of the year as I promised. Now, of that, that doesn't necessarily control anything other than just setting an expectation. Okay. So at this point in time, what can you do? Just keep trying. What I've done in the past, um, number one is basically, of course, giving them giving them a call the first time, the second time, the third time, and then eventually I just simply say, which I've done before, Beatrice, hey, this is Robert. I've tried you a few times. It may seem as if though that you're just not ready yet, and that's perfectly fine. This is going to be my last voicemail, so if you are interested, feel free to reach back out to me. But this will be my last call if you want to do that. But if not, you just have to continue doing that follow-up game. Okay.
Okay,
All
got
right.
it.
Yeah. Again, people are people. So there's nothing we can, in a sense, do about it other than the one thing I would say is just simply setting an expectation. That's it. Let's take a look. Shelly has a question. I find when I make SOI contacts, I will get some and so I will get, let's see, I will get come and, oh, got it. Come and list me, or I want to buy calls from other SOI sources. Shelly, can you actually vocalize it? I'm a little bit confused on your question.
So, when I was just saying, when I make calls to my SOI and I'll say, "Do
Yep.
you know anyone?" They'll say no, and then I'll hang up the phone after I've made however many contacts, and then I'll inevitably get people saying, "Hey, Shelly, I want to sell my house. Can you come over on Saturday?" So I was just saying
Okay.
when I call through my sphere, it's not necessarily coming from the contacts that I'm making. It's the
Mm.
law of abundance or whatever, however that works. But 9 times out of 10, yeah, I make the calls and then I get totally other people just calling me, wanting me to come over and take their listing or help them buy.
That is basically the law of attraction. And the
Yeah.
law of attraction basically comes from just simply you, in a sense, doing your job. So thank you in regards to that. But the law of attraction, so we're all on the same page. The law of attraction only works under one condition. It's kind of like a car. So the car is the law of attraction. You got this beautiful car, but if you don't have gas, or now, of course, we have electric, if you don't have power, if you don't have the electric or the gas, it's not going to go anywhere. And what is it that I'm referring to? The law of attraction is in association with the law of action. And what Shelley is talking about is the law of attraction via the law of action, meaning as she is taking everything that is necessary, she's going through, calling her list, person A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and all of a sudden, boom, gets a call from out of nowhere. That is what we do. And that's the energy that we put out. And I believe in that wholeheartedly, Shelley. I completely understand where you're coming from because there'll be times where, I've done that before. And again, as the example I'm going through, I'm knocking on doors, and the number of times that I've gotten an appointment on the very last flyer, the very last door, heck, not even from the door knocking. I end up getting a random call from somebody that says, I found your flyer, whatever. So yeah, that ends up happening from so many different directions. All right, so let's go ahead and move in the direction of role playing. I want to share with you guys a script I'm just going through. We talked previously about, let me screen here. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask them. So what I shared with you guys before was two different scripts. One is the intro script for those of you guys that are new or newer to a company. So if you're brand new or newer to the industry, this is a great script. Or if you're newer to a company, you just want to let them know that you've made a move over to ABC Brokerage, this is a great script. Okay. We also talked about the reconnect. This is probably one of the most used scripts outside of the most important one, which is the maintenance script. The reconnect script, this is for the ones that you have not spoken with in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or infinity and beyond. This is the script you're going to use. Okay, now we've already gone over that. Now we're going to come back to the maintenance script. I want to talk just for a little bit about the adoption script. Okay. What's the adoption script? The adoption script is for a couple of different directions. Number one, I'll use it from a personal perspective. I have two sons. My babies are now 27 and 29 years of age, no longer babies, grown men. And when they were younger, they play baseball. And I would be one of the coaches, not always, but in most cases I was. And I would get introduced to a new round or new set of parents. There would be 10 or 12 sets of kids, families, so on and so forth, and I would go through and I would introduce the adoption script or partaking in PTA, or how about the people that you've been following up with for the last 2, 3, 5 years and they're not going anywhere. You're still calling them and hoping that these what you consider to be a lead, I call them suspects, don't actually come to fruition. I just simply adopt them. I just go in a direction. Hey, looks like you're not making a move anytime soon. Why don't I just throw you into my database and I'll just give you some updates every quarter. And then when you're ready, you're ready. Okay. So I'm going to go through it here real quick. I do want to get through a role play. So this adoption script, here it is. Now in this, I'm going through, let me take a look. Beatrice, are you in a position to role play?
Yes.
Sweet. Thank you. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Our
Oh,
kids play soccer together. Okay.
okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a call. I'm just one of the parents, one of the coaches. Our kids play together. You know me by name, but you don't know me that well. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So here we go. Ring ring.
Hello.
Beatrice.
Oh, hi. Hi. Who is this? I'm sorry.
Hey. Yeah, this is Robert Villanueva. Our kids play over at ABC Soccer League. My son is little Timmy.
Oh, yeah. I know you, Robert. Yeah, I've seen you.
Yeah, well, I was simply giving you a call. I wasn't sure if you know, though, that I'm a full-time realtor. Did you know that?
I don't, no, no. I mean, I see you running around
Yeah,
pretty
you
quickly after the game sometimes, but
Yeah, that's exactly the way it is in the business. What I'd love the opportunity to do is, of course, take a minute to introduce myself, let you know that I am a realtor, but I'd also want the opportunity to see if I could add you to my database. But my question to you is, do you currently have a go-to realtor?
I mean, there's the person that initially helped us buy our home like 7 years ago. I can't say I've stayed in touch with
Uh,
them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, is it safe to assume that this realtor is not giving you updates frequently? Is that pretty safe?
I would say, yeah, yeah. It's been 7 years. We haven't really heard from them at all.
Well, Beatrice, I definitely would love the opportunity to be that realtor for you. I promise I'd simply just check in 3, 4 times a year and just kind of give you some updates what's going on with the real estate market. Would you guys be okay with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, we've been curious ourselves, just been here 7 years, just kind of curious
Okay.
what our next steps would look like. So, yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. So 7 years now. Would this be the best number to reach you at?
Yeah, this is my cell phone.
Okay, perfect. And then I do see that you and your husband, I don't see your husband there that often. What's your husband's name, by the way?
Luis. Yeah, he works
Luis.
on
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Saturdays,
Well, obviously,
unfortunately.
I'd love Yeah. And that's kind of common. Sometimes I get the opportunity to meet just the husband and not the wife, or sometimes the wife and not the husband. So it's definitely part of the gig. What I definitely would love the opportunity to do also is just send you some emails from time to time. What would be the best email for me to send some information to?
Yeah, it's bcamacho@gmail.com.
Cool, awesome. Well, I definitely look forward to being your go-to realtor. Is there any real estate questions that you have? I think you said something about possibly something or other after 7 years.
Yeah, it's just, we're just thinking if we need a bigger home right now. This was kind of our starter home, and it's been a great seven
Okay.
years. It's just now we're
Okay.
thinking, should we go for that bigger lot, an extra room for the kids? They probably need something to study and a computer and all that. And so that's what we've been thinking,
Yeah,
but we
absolutely.
really haven't done much with it.
Mm. Okay, cool. So then, of course, I would address that. I'd go through. I don't want to take up too much time because that could be another 2, 3, 5 minutes. That's unnecessary. But I would go ahead and go through. I would address that. I now have her adopted, if you want to call it that. And next time I see her, it's, hey, how are you doing? It's good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, so on and so forth. I know that this is weird and this is a little bit awkward for some of us, but guess what? Your sales, that's your job. Okay, stop being that agent. You do not work for the CIA. You do not work for the FBI. You are not a secret agent. You are a salesperson. Get over yourself. Okay, that's what we have to do in order to get to that next level. Well, you don't have to do anything, but if you want to get to that next level, you got to be that person that is literally wearing your name badge, wearing a jacket. You got to be a walking billboard. You got to be the person that says, "That's Robert the realtor. Look it. We should ask him a question." You need to be that person. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you all to look at where you can potentially adopt. As I tell my coaching clients, heck, pimp your kids out. Are they in band? Are they in sports? Are they in arts, dance, PTA, whatever it is? Put yourself in that position. I'm going to share with you guys here a very, very quick little story. I came across a coaching client that I worked with probably about 7 or 8 years ago. The guy came from Mexico. And I asked him, so let's put your database together. He goes, well, I don't have any past clients other than probably the 4 or 5 people that I've helped. My family, everybody's in Mexico. I don't really have a lot of friends. It's really just my brother that I live with. And yeah, I don't really frequent too many places as far as what's going out there. And he literally only had like 10 people in his database. So I told him, we're going to need to grow your database. Do you have any nieces, nephews? Do you have anybody that you can kind of relate to everything we just basically mentioned? He said, well, my nephews play soccer. I'm like, okay, so do you have a soccer background? He goes, yeah, I played soccer. I was, played it professionally, so on and so forth. Would you be open to the idea of coaching your nephew's soccer team? He says, yeah, actually, I'd love the opportunity. I was talking to my brother, blah, 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 all this other stuff. great. That's where you're going to start to build your database. Anyways, fast forward 2, 3 years later, the one mistake that I did not tell him was good job in terms of being a coach. He started building business from his soccer community. What I didn't tell him is don't be the president of the soccer league. He ended up becoming president of the soccer league. He eventually made that his full-time gig. Didn't even have time to do real estate anymore. I mean, he did, but it was just kind of one of those things where his life became absolute chaos after that. Now, the only reason I share that story with you is just simply the fact that he took on the challenge, a position, even if he used his niece and nephew as that leverage to be able to build that setup. Okay. So would that basically be who is it, your niece, your nephew, your son, your daughter? Is it your cousin? Is it, maybe even your parents, from a different perspective? Anybody have any questions, any concerns, anything of anythings? Right. So we're gonna work on
I do.
moving
Sorry, I was
forward.
trying to
This is
click
the most
over
good.
quickly. So, you know how she said in that conversation, she said something about 7 years, maybe doing something, haven't done anything. Would you try to book anything there or just leave it alone and then do a follow-up?
I would go through some discovery questions. I don't, here's the one thing I don't do with my database. It's way different than with an expired and or a FISBO. With an expired and or FISBO, it's right now. I got to get this appointment. I got to convince them. I got to do everything in my power to see them in the next 2, 3, 4 hours. And I got to put myself in a position where I can present to them. With a database, it's way more passive. And in that, I'm going to go through a series of discovery questions. Now, tell me, we're not going to role play. So tell me, Beatrice, where would you like to go? How soon would you like to be there? What is it what are you guys most looking forward to? What's the benefit of making this move? What's stopping you from making the move now? I'm going to go through some of these discovery questions. Now, if it is a little bit of the, yeah, we are ready, we just don't know where to start, great, let's get together. But if it's the, well, we've been toying with the idea for the last 2 years and we don't know when we're going to do it, maybe next year we might revisit it. We have our oldest daughter that's going to finish high school next year. We might do it after that. Then at that point in time, I'm just going to simply say, hey, look, I'm not going anywhere. You're now in my database. I'm going to check in with you every 3 months. No pressure. If you're not ready now, I'll give you a call in April. Maybe you'll be a lot closer then. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Okay. So with our personal database, we do not want to be the over the top, uberly aggressive, but you have to do your job in asking questions, the discovery questions. It is with what is the most helpful, especially when it comes time to the database. When it's with the expires and FISBOs, it's the complete opposite. I'm not going to do the, well, let me check back with you in 3 months because by then they already sold the house. They've already moved on. There's 2 commissions that were lost, probably even 3 if you would have double ended the listing, which you can. So it's a completely different approach, but that's a very fair question to be asking. All right. So we got time for one more question. Anybody else have any other questions? All right. So in this is what I call is the maintenance script. This is the script that you're going to be using. So you have the script that I basically just mentioned, the script. You have the intro script, and then you also have the database adoption script. The purpose of those 3 scripts is doesn't matter where you're starting. The point is to get them to here. Okay, which is the maintenance script. So all 3 of those are going to be for the purpose of getting them to here. Because this right here, what I'm sharing with you, which is what we're going to spend the rest of the month on, is going to be nothing but this conversation. And this is going to be call number 2, number 3, number 5, number 10, number 50, number 100. It's going to be this very same script. Okay. So unless anybody has any other question up there, I got to hit the road as I do have a 3-hour drive. So I'm going to be hitting up again. I'm going to be over in Downey. So if you guys are in the area, we're actually going to be doing at the Board of Realtors I do apologize. I don't know what the Board of Realtors name is for Downey, but it is in Downey. If you want more information, if you're in the LA area, I'm going to be speaking from 10:30 till 12 o'clock. I'd love the opportunity to see you guys there. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow, 7:30. And then don't forget, we're going to be going over the entire database mastery. That's going to be this Wednesday, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, first thing in the morning. Thank you for being here. I promise you guys I was going to be as consistent as I possibly can. And here we are. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Go take a listing or five. I'll see you guys then.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.